You know, if the filibuster has been used over and over to frustrate, well, I'm a labor lawyer, Amy, so 3 times there's been a frustration of the filibuster. It's passed the Senate by a majority, but not a supermajority. So we don't have labor law reform. We don't have unions. We have more inequality. People don't have pensions. And, you know, my friends go around and talk about, oh, globalization, globalization. I want to say to them, it's Senate Rule 22. You know, if it is the filibuster that frustrated the Carter agenda, that frustrated the progressive side of the Clinton agenda, that delegitimates the Democratic Party. People look at Barack Obama right now and say, well, he can't get anything done. We're frustrated with him. We'll vote in the Republicans. It is the filibuster that keeps delivering the country to the Republicans because the Democrats, thanks to the filibuster, are unable to govern. That's the horror of the thing. And the worst part is to have progressives turn around and say, now that the country is back in the hands of the Republicans, thanks to the filibuster, which has blocked labor law reform and health care and everything else, isn't it a good thing we have the filibuster because now we can stop Bush? I mean, it makes no sense. This is a horrible thing for progressives. The Senate exists, thanks to the filibuster, historically for 2 things. One was originally to protect slavery, and the second is to protect kind of low-wage labor. That's its basic function, and it is the main reason that we have this great inequality in the country today. We don't have one person, one vote in our country. We have this Senate rule where 2 senators from a state with 600,000 are equal to California with 36 million. It's not small states versus big states. It gives the conservative states an enormous veto over everything that could occur when a progressive majority takes over the presidency and the Congress.
What about the idea that it protects the minority party?
Well, it doesn't protect the minority party. In some ways, I think it tears apart the minority party. Look at the Tea Party right now and the Republicans. You know, when you have majority rule, what does that mean? It means that the minority party has to compromise. It has to govern with the progressives because they can't stop them. If you have a situation in which you've got the Weimar Republic brought back again, you know, you can completely polarize and shut down the administration. It pulls apart the opposition and pushes it, in my view, further and further to the left, further to the right. I mean, you know, it just it puts the Republican Party in the hands of the extremists because they know they can shut down the government, discredit Barack Obama. They've seen how the filibuster worked with Carter, discredited him, saw how it worked in the Clinton administration the first 2 years when the Democrats had a majority, discredited him. They know they can bring down the government this way. And when you give the power to a minority to bring down the government, it's going to be exercised irresponsibly. We used to have, in this country, in the 1940s and 1950s, you know, some kooks on the Republican side, but fairly responsible opposition party, you know, in a certain way. There was a lot of bipartisanship, especially on foreign policy, but, you know, you even had Robert Taft proposing federal housing programs for people. It was a party that had to find its way to the center because there was a center-left that was able to govern.
We only have a minute.
When that can't happen,
we only have a minute to go, Thomas Geoghegan. But what do you think they should do in Congress right now, and what do you think Harry Reid should do?
I think that we should let the filibuster be the filibuster. If we can't get rid of it through court or have the vice president declare it unconstitutional as presiding officer, which Joe Biden should do, let the filibuster be the filibuster. If they want to obstruct, let them obstruct. Bring up the minor appointees and let them shut down the Senate for weeks and weeks and weeks. Let people see how ridiculous this is. Let's go back and have the replays of the Jimmy Stewart movies. And I think the country will be disgusted. The procedural filibuster will be gone. The old talking filibuster will be back. It will be discredited, and we'll move on and begin governing the country again.
Do you think the Democrats rely on the threat of the Republican filibuster because they don't want to move forward on the kinds of issues you're concerned about?
Well, some do, but I think the majority, really for ego and vanity reasons, love the filibuster. You know, there are all sorts of progressive senators on the left who love it. And the reason is it gives one senator enormous power to put a procedural hold on an appointee. And I have to say, there is no better way to raise money for a senator than to go around to contributors and saying, hey, I single-handedly can shut down the whole country, which, as the rules now operate, they can do. So people, it's a lot easier to buy 1 or 2 senators to put procedural holds on things than to buy 50 senators to block the whole nominee. You know, it's a very insidious system. It's extremely corrupting.
Thomas Geoghegan, I want to thank you for being with us as a lawyer based in Chicago, author of See in Court, How the Right Made America a Lawsuit Nation. And that does it for the show. Democracy Now! Produced by Mike Berkshire, Hoda Kadu, Sarah Monte, Angela Comet, Steve Martinez, Nicole Salazar, Honey Massoud, Robbie Karen. Special thanks to Becca Staley. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us.